On a cold winter night in 1989, it was an ordinary evening in Karadadalur village of Balikesar. The people of the village had retreated to their homes to relieve the tiredness of the day and were warming themselves by the fire. However, that night would not be an ordinary night. As darkness fell, a silence began to reign over the village. A silence in which even nature stopped breathing. My name is Ahmed. I was working as a journalist at the time, and my curiosity about the supernatural had brought me to Karadadalur village. When I heard about the strange happenings in the village, I thought it was an opportunity to find out what was happening there. We came to the village with a small investigative team and started talking to the villagers. What they told us seemed at first to be just legends, but the fear on their faces was real. At night, the villagers locked their doors and closed their windows tightly. Everyone had a look of worry on their faces and fear in their eyes. No one dared to go out at night. Allegedly, the village was haunted by jinns. These jinns would appear in the village at night and roam on the roofs of the houses, wait in front of the doors, and watch people. Later at night, those who dared to look out of the windows of the houses said they saw red eyes glowing in the dark. One night I gathered my courage and decided to wait in the village square. As the clock struck midnight, the air suddenly turned cold and an eerie wind began to blow. Suddenly, I heard strange whispers coming from the depths of the village. The voices were coming from all over the village, but I could not understand what they were saying. The whispers had a tone that made one's soul shiver and goosebumps rise. Just then, my eyes fell on the old school building in the village. At first I thought it was my imagination, but when I looked carefully, I realized that a silhouette had appeared in front of the window. This silhouette was larger than human size and shapeless. My eyes froze, my heart was pounding like crazy. When the silhouette turned to look at me, I saw the red glow in its eyes, as if a being from the depths of hell was looking at me. I ran away and went back to the house where I was staying. That night, as I was trying to sleep, I heard rattling just outside the window. I hid under the covers, trying not to breathe. The rattling got closer and closer, stopping just outside the window. Suddenly the window opened sharply, and a cold wind blew in. With the wind, the whispers came back. I shuddered and closed my eyes. At that moment, I felt a hand touch my shoulder, but when I turned around, I saw no one. On a cold winter night in 1989, it was an ordinary evening in Karadadalur village of Balikesar. The people of the village had retreated to their homes to relieve the tiredness of the day and were warming themselves by the fire. However, that night would not be an ordinary night. As darkness fell, a silence began to reign over the village, a silence in which even nature stopped breathing. The next morning, we learned that a child had gone missing in the village. Everyone was in a panic, but no one dared to go out. We went there, hoping to find some clue near the place where the child had disappeared. There, on the ground, there were strange signs and symbols, as if the jinn had marked that area. We never found the boy again. After that day, the fear in the village grew even more. We decided to leave the village because we realized how dangerous things could be. When I left the village, I could still see that fear in the eyes of the villagers. The village of Karadadalur is etched in my memory as a nightmare that I will never forget. After that incident, I stopped being interested in the supernatural and continued my journalism career on a different path, but the fear those dark beings gave me that night haunted me for the rest of my life.